Hi Leo, welcome to your love reading for March 2019. This is Elizabeth from ChannelledGuidance.com and you're watching YouTube channel Channeled Guidance Tarot. So I've already shuffled the decks for you. Let's go ahead and begin and see what comes up for you. This is a love reading for the sign of Leo for March 2019. The first card that you have, Leo, is the Four of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. Strength. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. Queen of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. The Lovers. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. The Knight of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. The Nine of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. You have the Eight of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. You have the Two of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. And the Five of Cups. What's the most important thing that Leo needs to hear about their love life for March 2019? The card that you have, Leo, is the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles, this is about doing a lot of thinking. And it can be you, but it can also represent your partner. This is about weighing your options very, very carefully. And if you're in the middle of making a big decision, this is saying take your time. Take your time. You have options. Perhaps you need to take a little bit more time in making a decision. So we'll come back to this to see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. Also, Leo, if you would like to get a private reading with me, just go to my website, ChannelledGuidance.com. I'll put a link down below. Also a link to my Facebook where I'm going to be posting bonus readings for all the signs. And again, you're watching YouTube channel, Channeled Guidance Tarot. Okay, so let's see what you have going on here, because you have quite a bit going on. You have the Four of Cups, Strength, and the Queen of Wands. So your energy is very strong because Strength also does represent the sign of Leo. And then you have the Queen of Wands, which is, of course, your energy as a fire sign. Now, if you have a partner who is also a fire sign, either another Leo, an Aries, or a Sagittarius, then it can represent them. I feel like there's some type of unhappiness around you. The Four of Cups does mean that perhaps you're feeling slightly unfulfilled with what's going on in your love life. For some of you, you could be making a decision about a relationship, a decision about a marriage. And, you know, this Four of Cups, it does represent that, you know, like this energy of feeling kind of numb. This is my I don't care anymore card. But keep in mind that you also have Strength. This does represent patience. So it could be that things are going to change in your relationship. Things are going to change in your love life. The Strength card is a message to not let your ego chime in. Don't let negative thoughts derail your relationships. Don't let anger come in. Don't let frustration. I do see, you know, focusing on something that is just kind of bringing you down, and you need to kind of stay away from that in the month of March. Now, the second row looks a little better for you. You have the Lovers, the Knight of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles. So the Lovers, I mean, this can also represent someone who is a Gemini. But the Lovers, of course, this does represent a relationship. But, I mean, I've got to say this because you've got the Seven of Pentacles. The Lover sometimes does represent a choice. I don't always say that. In some readings, you may have heard me say that. Perhaps you're choosing between two partners. I am hearing a lot of that in private readings. So perhaps there's a decision that you have to make. Maybe you're unfulfilled in one relationship and it's time to move on. For others, it's just that there's a very significant relationship around you. To me, the Lovers represents a relationship that could lead to marriage, a significant connection. This is someone that you're very invested in. Now you have the Knight of Cups, which does represent movement. I feel like, you know, there's a strong relationship around you, and the Knight of Cups means that this relationship will continue to grow. Now you have the Nine of Pentacles there. Now this is my card of personal growth and development, and really focusing on you, your self-worth, your self-confidence. I don't know. I just feel like this is leading me back to the Four of Cups. For some of you, it could be that you're unhappy in a relationship. And perhaps you've been trying really hard to make this work with the Strength card being here. I mean, with the Strength card, things come up that really trigger you, whether it's anger, or frustration, or fear, and you're having to be really strong around some type of unhappy situation in your love life. For everyone, it's going to be different. It just seems like, you have to be really careful what choices you're making. I feel like there can be a positive change in your love life, whatever it is that's going on with you. But you can't forget you, the Nine of Pentacles. You can't forget your own self-worth. And to me, the Nine of Pentacles also just represents feeling good about your decisions, which, I mean, again, you have to feel good with the decisions that you're making. If you look back and think, God, I feel awful that I made that decision, I feel awful that I did that, then you probably need to take more time. But the Nine of Pentacles is just saying there's going to be some type of movement or development around your love life, and you just need to make sure that you feel good about this. Okay, so in the bottom row, you have the Eight of Swords, the Two of Swords, and the Five of Cups. So, I mean, all of these are kind of challenging energy. I mean, the Two of Swords, again, choices. The Two of Swords, to me, this represents, well, first, stuck energy. You're stuck because you need to take action. You need to make some type of decision that's very, very difficult. Usually when the Two of Swords comes up, this is something that's extremely complicated. It's very complicated. And then you've got the Eight of Swords here. I mean, the Eight of Swords does represent feeling trapped, feeling like your hands are tied behind your back. There's no way out of this. Again, it can be that, you're having to make an extremely difficult decision where you just have to be really patient and maybe knowing what you want to do. It's kind of interesting that you start the reading with the Four of Cups and then you end it with the Five of Cups. So, I mean, the Five of Cups does represent feeling disappointed and tears and unhappiness. I don't know. It just seems like, the sign of Leo. Let me just look at this for a minute. I mean, it just seems like there's some type of positive movement here, positive development around you. Things are going to change for the better. But again, you have to put yourself first with the Nine of Pentacles. You have to feel good about where you are in your love life. If you feel like you're compromising too much, because, I mean, you've got the Four and the Five of Cups. If you feel like you're giving someone, if you're letting someone kind of get away with murder, so to speak, then you really need to look at that a little bit more. But for some of you, again, you feel like there's something about your love life that you can't change. This Eight of Swords is a mental prison. I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of thinking about your love life in the month of March. And for some of you, you could be facing some really tough decisions. Just whatever it is that you choose, make sure that you feel good about it. Because, I mean, I feel like for some of you, like, you're unhappy with a situation, and there is some positive developments here, but it's going to be up to you and how much you value yourself. Let me go ahead and get a few more cards. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for March? You have the Six of Wands. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for March? The Page of Swords. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for March? And the Four of Wands. Okay, so, I mean, you do have victory here, the Six of Wands. This is getting past any obstacles that have been holding you back, any obstacles that have been blocking your love life, perhaps even you being stuck and being able to make a decision. For some of you, it could be that you're trying to choose between partners. It could be that you're choosing perhaps to be in a new relationship and you're having a lot of trouble making that decision. You do have this energy of victory. Let me just kind of jump here. Although I do see you being very happy here with the Four of Wands. This is a committed relationship. This is also a marriage. This is stability for you. Stability is coming in for you. This is tying in with the Lover's card and the Knight of Cups. There is a sense of stability. Perhaps for some of you, this is a relationship that can lead to marriage. But there's a need for you to be completely honest. You've got the Page of Swords. And again, I mean, seeing this, with the cards that you have, the Four and the Five of Cups, and then everything that you have going on down here, I feel like for some of you, you're unhappy with something that's happening in your relationship right now. I mean, the Four and Five of Cups, first card and last card, there's a need for you to be completely honest. If your partner, it seems like your partner is just not being fair to you. If there's, some behavior going on that's not fair, like cheating, or they're just not being very fair to you, you really need to be completely honest. I still see you being happy here in a stable relationship, but you do need to really speak your truth. And, there is success around this. There is victory. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a few more cards from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for March? You've got the Knight of Pentacles. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for March? Interesting. Page of Swords, so that's a repeat card. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for March? And you've got the Empress. What's the most important thing that Leo needs to hear about their love life for March 2019? The Page of Cups. So now you have 3 pages on here. So, I mean, communication is going to be really important in the month of March. It can also be for some of you that you are receiving some type of communication from someone you've been hoping to hear from. The Page of Cups does represent sometimes a declaration of love. This can be you pouring out your heart to someone, or someone pouring out their heart to you. This can even represent a new relationship or rekindling a relationship. Okay, so let's take a look at these 3 cards. Let's start here because this is a repeat card. You have it right here. Same card, different deck. So again, communication is important in the month of March, but also honesty, the truth. I mean, it's a general reading, so it's hard for me to say what your truth is. For some of you, because of the cards that I've pulled, it could be the truth is that you're not happy. 4 and 5 of Cups. Or someone is making you unhappy. Maybe their behavior is making you unhappy. Not that you don't love them, but their behavior is making you unhappy. Then you really need to speak your truth with the Page of Swords. This isn't just truth. This is being completely blunt. Like, I love you, but I hate your attitude towards our marriage. Or whatever that represents for you. The Page of Swords is being completely blunt. And again, 3 pages on here. Communication is just like, it is like a neon sign for you in this reading. 3 pages. So communication is going to be really important. Either you have to communicate or you're going to be receiving some type of really significant communication. Now, let's look at these 3 cards, just the way I pulled them. So, I mean, you've got the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles does represent progress in your love life. This is slow progress, but you are moving towards happiness. You are moving towards stability or a relationship, maybe for those of you who are single. Honesty is the key. This can even be, I forgot to say, but this can even be honesty with yourself. Because, I mean, this card really stood out to me, that you have to do what's best for you. This is about you feeling good about where you are in your love life. Are things fair to you? Do you feel good about how your partner is treating you? Do you feel like you've done the best that you can do? Because you do have the Empress. I mean, the Empress means that there is, either you're already with this person, because this can represent marriage and children, a happy home, all of that stability. But this is not compromising. There can be someone out there for you that can give you everything you've ever wanted and then some. Of course, the Empress can also represent someone who is the sign of Aries. So for some of you, if your partner is an Aries, then this is really speaking to you. But perhaps, I mean, seeing the Page of Swords with this, perhaps you're making progress in your current relationship, being in the energy of the Empress, of being, you know, the perfect relationship. Where you have it all. To me, the Empress is like the celebrity of the tarot. She has it all. Happy home, children, good health, financial security, beauty, everything. But there's a need to be completely honest. I feel like there's slow progress towards this energy of the Empress. So let me take one last look at this spread before we move on to the X spread. Let's see what else catches my eye here. Well, the first thing that I noticed here is that you've got the Four of Cups and you've got the 4 of Wands. To me, the 4s do represent stability. So I feel like for many of you, you will be dealing with this in the month of March. Perhaps, again, perhaps your relationship, because you do have a strong sense of unhappiness here, 4 and 5 of Cups. There's something in your relationship that's making you unhappy, and there's a chance for you to kind of bring this relationship back into balance. There's a possibility of you kind of making this relationship a little bit more stable. Because again, it's like you're slightly unfulfilled. This is not a miserable energy. For some of you, it could be that you're just slightly unhappy that you're being ignored or something is not fair to you. But with the 5 of Cups, some of you are really dealing with a painful situation. I mean, hard to say in a general reading, so I try to go over all the possible scenarios here. You've also got 2 6s, I just noticed. You've got the Lovers, which is a 6, and then you've got the 6 of Wands. So, I mean, this is balance and harmony. Again, there's a need to bring your love life back into balance to where you feel like, okay, I'm doing good. I feel good about where we are as a couple. I'm getting everything that I deserve. I'm not leaving myself behind. There's a need to bring balance back into your love life. Okay, I think that's all here. So let's go ahead and move on to the X spread. And I'm going to be using this deck. So let me go ahead and get these out of the way. I've already shuffled it, so we can go ahead and begin. Remember the X spread, I mean, this can be someone you had a significant relationship with, but it can also just be someone that you dated, someone you were interested in, and you just want to know, is there a chance? Or will you hear from this person again? Okay. Show me the energies around Leo and their ex. You've got the Queen of Swords, Leo and their ex. Nine of Pentacles again, interesting. Show me the energies around Leo and their ex for March 2019. The Fool, Leo and their ex, March 2019. The Empress again, interesting. Leo and their ex, March 2019. The Chariot, Leo and their ex, March 2019. And Strength. Okay, so let's pause and look at this and see what this means for you. So you've got the Queen of Swords. So I mean, this can represent someone who is an air sign, so Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. This can represent your ex or you. But I mean, keep in mind the Queen of Swords, sometimes the King and the Queen of Swords come up when someone is not in touch with their emotions, when they're overanalyzing everything. It can even represent you, because remember that the main energy from the first spread that I did for you was the Seven of Pentacles. Doing a lot of thinking and very carefully weighing your options. So the Queen of Swords can be you or your ex, who maybe you're doing a lot of thinking about each other. I mean, I definitely see a new beginning there. The Fool is telling me that there's definitely a chance for you to rebuild this relationship with your ex. The Fool means, though, that there are no guarantees. You're just going to have to really trust. You're going to have to really trust your heart and your intuition as far as what this person means to you. And I mean, here it is again. The Nine of Pentacles. How do you feel about taking your ex back? I mean, considering, you know, everyone's relationship ended in a different way. Perhaps you just parted ways, you know, and it was friendly. Perhaps it was really messy. The Nine of Pentacles, this is about you. This is about your self-worth. How does it make you feel if your ex asks you back or wants to kind of resume the relationship? Because I feel like there's a chance there with the Fool. You're going to have to just follow your gut instinct here. There is a chance where you're just going to have to just jump right in. But you do have to make sure that this is fair to you, that you feel good about that decision. Now, I mean, you've got the Empress. And again, we're talking about someone who is no longer in your life. You're no longer a couple, or perhaps there's talk of divorce for some of you, depending on your situation. Again, the Empress, to me, represents having it all without having to compromise too much. This is perhaps even your ideal partner. You feel like this person just completes you in every single way. Now, you do have victory right next to it, the Chariot. The Chariot does represent victory, but it does mean that you have to be really patient. You have to be really persistent. You're really going to have to focus on this reunion. And you have Strength, which means you also have to be really patient, and you're going to have to really watch. You're going to have to really watch your ego, which could be, you know, fears. It could be that you're still angry at your ex. It could be that you're just really frustrated. The Strength card is about taming your inner beast. So, I mean, the fact that you have the Fool, for one, a new beginning, and the Empress, which does represent love and marriage, and like maybe you feel like your ex was just everything to you. Maybe you feel like my ex was like the one, and maybe you've not been able to move on. Because I'm hearing a lot of that in private readings. People do not want to let go of their ex. And I never tell people, like, just move on. Because I hear that a lot. Just move on. Sometimes you're not ready to move on. So, I mean, I feel like there's definitely a new beginning for you. And, I mean, again, back to the Queen of Swords. It could be that you have a lot to think about. If you're not If you don't have a moon or rising in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, and they are not an air sign, this means that perhaps you have a lot to think about. Either that, or your ex perhaps is really overthinking things. Perhaps that is what is keeping you apart. Now, another thing that stands out here is all of these major arcanas. Actually, you know what? You have 4. 4 out of 6 are major arcanas. And again, we're doing a reading for someone who is no longer in your life, and you just want to know, is there a chance? The fact that you have 4 major arcanas in this spread tells me that there's a pretty good chance that you and your ex will reconnect. Again, you have to be patient though with the Strength card. You have to be really patient. And actually the Strength card does represent you, Leo. And this can even represent someone who is an Aries, and this can represent someone who is a Cancer. So perhaps if your ex is either another Leo, or your ex is an Aries or a Cancer, these cards can represent them. I do see a reunion. I see a lot of love here, and someone really wants this relationship. And I feel like for some of you, it's you. You just feel like your ex is like perfect. Like they made you so happy. But this is saying you're going to have to be really patient, actually both of them. And perhaps for some of you, I feel like with the Chariot, like this is going to be up to you. Because the Chariot is victory, but it's victory because you've been persistent and you've been really driven and maybe getting this person back. I don't want to go through all the cards. I feel like there's something in the first spread that I did for you that ties in with this. I don't want to spend too much time going through it, but I feel like there's a need for you to really, if like you really love this person, you really want them back, the Chariot is requiring you to put in some effort here. It's a success, it is a victory because you've been so persistent and so determined. Of course, if you've been trying to get your ex back, then keep doing what you're doing. I do see you getting what you want. I do see you being extremely happy. But again, back to the 9 of Pentacles. Make sure that this is fair to you and that you feel good about your decision. Okay, Leo, this has been your love reading for March 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.